And today I welcome John Walsh to the show, and I'm excited to dive into our conversation around confidence, around behaviour, and what John has learned over his life about these areas. So I want to quickly introduce John, and then we're going to dive into the conversation today. John Walsh is a confidence and behaviour coach who spent over 2 decades helping people perform when the pressure is real across sales, leadership, and complex projects around the world. He's worked with 34,000 individuals in over 180 organizations. His work centers on a simple idea. Confidence isn't just something you feel, it's something you build, and what drives trust and results. He is the author of 4 books on confidence and hosts the podcast Let's Talk About Confidence, where he shares practical ways to build that kind of confidence in everyday work and life. Disclaimer: any of the guidance offered by the podcast host, myself, or the podcast guests is our own guidance. We are not liable for any of the actions the podcast listener decides to do. Welcome to the show today, John. Glad to have you on.
Thank you, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, John, for me, it seems you are very driven to help people with their confidence, working with behavior or confidence and behavior coach. We'd love to know what has driven that interest for you, that passion for you in, human behavior, performance and confidence.
I think it was really at the beginning of my career. I was lucky enough to join Lloyd's Bank as a commercial. It was asset finance, and they taught us to do all the stuff you would expect: read balance sheets, etc., look at customers, blah blah blah. But then they introduced behaviour. They started talking about, and at that time it was quite early days of like positive psychology. Good, it was really quite early. But it kind of sparked my imagination. So they started with things like body language, Desmond Morris's books, God bless his soul, he's just passed. But his books, then they got us into, like NLP was just starting to come out, and it was just fascinating, John, and that was it. I just thought, I've always been super practical. It's always like, so how does it work? Not just, because we got stuff on, I don't know if you've ever gone through this yourself, the positive thinking stuff. And it's really good, but it's like, when you break it down to, so what do you want me to do? Just think positive. Right, how do I do that? Just have positive thoughts, and you're going like, there's got to be more to it than that. And all of a sudden, this stuff they start showing us made it come alive, and you went, right, so it's a process, so I can learn it, as opposed to having to be born good at it. You know what I mean?
Oh, fascinating. So yeah, you went into Lloyd's and then kind of learnt this like behavior sense. So yeah, for you, what I'd love to know, what is confidence for you?
For me, it's the ability to behave under pressure and get the outcome you're after. So it's all about being able to do the things you want to do in any circumstance. There's a small caveat: you've got to have the skills and stuff like that to do it, and the ability. But it's that part, if you've got those skills and those ability, and you get to a point where you think, I can't do this, not because of the ability or what you know. It's that bit that's fascinated me. What is it stops really good people from believing in themselves and doing stuff? That was what the big thing was. It really caught my imagination and wanted me to find out as much as I could about it, which I did. And then when I left the bank, went into consultancy. You're working with clients, and I mentioned when you said the figure in the introduction, I've kept a log of every client I've worked with.
Wow.
Since I moved into consultancy. I know it's 34,522 at the moment. And it's like, how all those people, they're great people that can do great jobs, but every now and again you'll find people in amongst that just doubt themselves a bit when perhaps they shouldn't. And that's what made me. So it's always been, you maybe be talking to them about a business skill you're helping them with, or you're working with a complex team and seeing how you get them to work together better. But underpinning it all is, if we've got confidence as individuals, if we've got confidence as a team, we're going to perform better. So you need the confidence, then you build on the competence, and then you get the high performance. And
Mm.
that's been the theme. And I think one of the things that opened my eyes last year, John, it was the three particular clients in different industries, two in the UK, one in Europe. And they all asked for confidence training. And it was for director level,
Mm.
senior manager level, and operative level. So it wasn't any one particular area that was lacking confidence. It wasn't any one industry or one country. That's what fascinated. I went like, why is this? Why is this so important right now? Why are people suddenly waking up to what we've seen over the years? Our route back then would have been to help you to be competent in that. Say we took a business skill like, I don't know, managing conflict, and we'd work with you and coach you or work with the team to manage conflict. So we'd build your confidence in that by building your competency. But it
Mm.
was only last year I started thinking, oh yeah, and I know this sounds mad after all the years, but you go, yeah, confidence is underpinning it all. So it kind of sent me on a journey to the books and the podcast and things like that to go, I've got to share it. And the great thing about podcasts, they're out there for everybody to enjoy
Mm.
and take and listen to. They're free. Books you got to pay a bit for, but not that much. But it's the idea, I want to get it out there, Johnny. And one specific thing I want to bust is the myth that we're born confident. You
Mm.
know, you've seen people, haven't you, when they get up and they do a talk and you go like, oh my God, they're so good. They're born confident. And they're not. Nobody's born confident. We've got some personality traits we get in our DNA, but not confidence. You don't get any confidence traits. So it's been a kind of mission of mine to say, look, confidence is a behavior like any other behavior that we learn. And the mission for me is to show people how to learn at whatever stage they're at. If they're confident, they're just falling back in one area, or they're just building their confidence in every area of their life. That's the mission. That's what I want to do, and
Mm.
it's great fun.
Mm. So yeah, it sounds like curiosity and then sort of
Yeah,
fun and helping people and sort of
yeah,
really your mission. Um, yeah, what do you think? Like, there may be multiple things, but is there anything or a couple of things that you think does stop people from being confident? You talked about people had the abilities, but they just didn't believe in themselves. What do you think kind of
yeah.
stops people believing in themselves?
It was typically it would be the experiences they'd had. They'd coded them up slightly differently, whereas we might go through an experience and you kind of feel at it. But I'll give you an example. Think about learning to walk, which you won't remember as a kid, but you probably remember learning a bike, you learn how to drive, learn how to bake a cake or make a meal. All those things. First time you tried them, you're probably, well, I know the walking one we were falling over, but you're never confident at it. And what tends to happen is we build our confidence as we keep trying them and do them and do them and do them, we become more confident at them. So by the 310th time of making a spaghetti bolognese, it tastes okay on most occasions, right? And I think what was different with the people that had the ability to do it, it was this self belief. So it takes into the part you put about self esteem part where
Mm.
they didn't think that was good enough. There was something, and typically it comes from the experiences they've had. They've coded the experiences up instead of as evidence, they've coded them up as failure.
Mm.
And typically that will come from the people that's been helping you around those things in your earlier years. So if you're coding an attempt as, hey, good, you had a try at it, let's try it again. It works, you build it. If you get the experience of, why did you fall over? What's wrong with you? You'll then,
Mm.
as you take that forward, you'll then have that set of beliefs in yourself. You'll be thinking, oh, I am no good at this.
Mm.
That's
That's
been
really
helping.
interesting. Going back to like learning how to walk,
Yeah.
um, and you hadn't, yeah, the thought of like, why can't you walk? What's wrong with me? Is very, you know,
I've
babies keep
never
going or toddlers keep going, right?
I've never heard a parent say, what's wrong with you? You keep falling over. You hear them, you're down in a park or something, or if you're looking up, you're in a cafe or something like that, and you see a parent going, oh, clever girl, that's so good. And I think sometimes we as parents sometimes forget that in the later stages when they've now become a bit more cognitive, they're aware of their behavior. We kind of tend to. I mean, I'll be honest that because all the training I had, I tried to be the best I could at that. I think we've done a see me and my wife have done a reasonable job. If my daughter's listening, she might send you a comment saying we didn't. We tried our best. But I think that's the bit where it's like we can be mindful. And even at work now, if you've got folks that are trying stuff, it's the first time you've tried it. And it's like, you're never going to be great at something the first time. It's rare that you're great at something the first time you try it. You might have a natural ability for it, but it's rare that you're great at it, isn't it?
It's interesting. There's one like teacher in particular I've learned from in the personal growth space, and he said often people will give up at like learning something new, or just sometimes even before they're about to break through, because it's activating the fear that we're not enough if it's not going right. That really resonated with me. Definitely.
There's a bit that we talk about. We call it the boring middle bit. And what's happening is, so you try something new, like you just said there, Johnny, you try it. And at the beginning, we're full, say, let's learn the piano.
Yeah.
Can you play the piano?
No. I've got no problem saying I have no musical talent. I'll stick to my other skills. It's all good.
So we decide, both of us say, we're going to learn the piano, right? So we go and we get lessons and all that. And at the beginning, we're so motivated because there's something in there that we identified and went, I really want to be able, I don't know, maybe it's at Christmas if people run a piano and we have a good old sing-song, or whatever it is, or I want to be able to play in a train station and shock people at how good I am, and whatever our dream is, we got it. So those first few weeks, we are like on fire. We're like practicing, we're reading it, we're motivated it. And then we get to the bit where that's worn off. And we get into the bit where you got to just do your practice, every night you got to do your 15, 20 minutes or whatever they tell you to do. And what's happening, and this is the bit, and we talk about this in episode 2, I think it is, we talk about the boring middle bit. And it's this bit where what's happening in our brain, the neurology. So we're forming the neural pathways for learning to read music, for learning to play the piano. We're forming all that, but it's not yet physically transmitting to our fingers. So it's hard. We're really hard for it. And the sad part is that's where most folks give up just before the breakthrough takes on. So you go like, oh, I'm really no good at this. And it's like if there was a twin world where one could carry on, one would stop. The one that carries on probably like the week later would go, oh, actually, I think I'm getting this. And that spurs us on to do the next bit and finish and become good at whatever it is we've set out to do. So yeah, I get it. He was dead right. That teacher was super right that we just give up just before it's starting to kick in, before we can physically feel it, which is a real bummer, isn't it?
It's interesting as well. What I found like personally as well is the brain can come up with some very logical sounding excuses as well. It's like, I'm a bit busy right now, or I got a lot going on, or maybe it's not quite for me, or maybe I'll do this next year. And it's crazy sometimes the stories it comes up with, I found personally.
No, yeah, it's universal. It's not just you, Johnny, it's universal.
No, I've learned.
And it's like there's kind of three things. What's happening? Number one is the threat response is kicking in. And that makes us go, so if the threat response kicks in, we're going to do one of three things. We're going to change the meaning of that threat. And we might say, oh no, it's not actually a physical threat. It's okay, I'm fine. We're going to change the environment, or we're going to change our physiology. So think of the environment. The best way to change the environment is to avoid whatever it is. So instead of going into the front room, if it's that way you do and practice the piano, you go, just what you said, you go like, oh, wait a minute, I've got to polish my shoes for tomorrow. I'll do that and then I'll do the piano. And then it's like time for dinner and then it's like time for bed. So I'm with you on that. I think avoid is a beautiful strategy, but not if you want to actually master something. You can't avoid it. You got to go on. You got to do it.
Avoidance, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a big one.
No. So yeah, like with there's a bit of boring you have to maintain. Is that what kind of you've learned?
You just got to keep. And I think if I was saying to people as a, because it sounds bad when you're saying you just got to keep going through the bone bit. you do. But it's like thinking about it slightly differently where you go, so at the beginning, super excited to do whatever this is, learning how to do spreadsheets, learning to do a presentation at the board, whatever it is. Super exciting. Then the next bit is, oh, I'm not getting any better at this. This is not going better. But it is. It's invisible. We can't see that. So the bit I would say to folks is stay in that boring middle bit because very soon you're going to pop out, start to go, oh, actually, I am quite good at this. That's the
Mm.
bit. Keep doing it.
Keep doing
Don't
it.
give up. Even if you just kept going another, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it for another week. No, I'm going to do it. This is a Tuesday. I'm going to do it till Friday night. I'm going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night practice, and then I'll see. So it's almost like tricking yourself to stop avoiding.
Mm.
It's what runners do all the time, isn't it? They go out for a
Trick
10K and they
trick
go,
themselves,
oh,
yeah.
just front of that next lamppost because they just want to go back home and sit in the sofa. So it's that kind of thing. We've got to keep doing it
Keep doing it, yeah.
just a bit more.
In your work with helping people as well while they move forward with continually doing these like little things and even tricking your mind, is there any work you do with kind of like their inner narrative and kind of that self-talk as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the biggies. You start, if you think back to what we were saying about three things we can
Mm,
change in any, think of the behavior loop where you get some stimulus comes in and you attach meaning to it. Based on that meaning, you'll then get the emotional state. From that emotional state, it'll drive the behavior, and then you'll get the outcome. Then there'll be a feedback loop. So stimulus, meaning, and that's the bit where we start. Exactly what you've just said, the inner voice, where you go. Say, give you an example. Say they said to you tomorrow. I mean, you seem you'd be fine with this, I'm sure, John. Say they said to someone new. Let's take someone new. We need you to go and do a board presentation, and you've never stood in the board before.
mm,
It's like you probably your inner voice is going to say. So the meaning you'll attach to it is, oh my god, I could look stupid. I'm new. It'll ruin my reputation.
mm,
People think bad of me. That's typically what the meaning that someone in that situation might say. Normally they would. What we do is, so we'll work to change that meaning and go, right, so what else, how else could we think of that? So
mm,
we do a thing called the opposite. There's three particular techniques we use on it. Number one technique is to change the meaning to what could it do for me positively as opposed to negatively. And the way we do that is dead simple thing to do. Most of us will think about what we think is going to happen.
mm,
All we need to change it to is what do we want to happen? So we'll go back to that scenario where the person's saying, oh, my reputation can be damaged. People think badly of me. They're assuming it's going to go bad for a start. So let's forget that for a
mm,
moment. But then go for the if we went, that's what they think will happen. But imagine we just said to them, okay, so now focus on, you've done that bit. First thing is thank your brain because it's keeping you safe. So thank you. I appreciate you doing that. You've spotted the risk. Now
mm,
let's think about what do I want to happen? What I want to happen is that I do the presentation well, I land the information they need, and people can see that I am experienced in that area or I'm knowledgeable in that area. That's what I want to
mm,
happen. So that's and we kind of, it's not quite the opposite, but we do that. We go, don't think about what you think will happen, think about what you want to happen. So that's number one. Number two is to then think the opposite. Oh, I can't do this. I can do this. This won't go well. This will go well. They're going to hate it. They're going to love it. So just doing a simple opposite switch. So there's two tools. Focus on what you want, not what you think is going to happen. Number two is go the opposite to what you're saying. Because your brain's trying to protect you. So all you're doing is, thanks for that. But what would happen if I could do it? And the last one, and I love this one because I learned it myself the hard way. When you're hard on yourself through, because I love just taking on a challenge, but when you take something on and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, this is so difficult. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm probably going to mess it up, blah, blah, blah. Saying all those negative things to yourself. The way to stop it in this track, say to yourself, what would you say to a friend, Johnny?
mm.
Would you say to a friend? Would you say that? And it wouldn't, you wouldn't, would you? you'd say, imagine your friends said to you they were going to row across the Atlantic, and you maybe having a coffee with them, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm really worried, but I don't know if I can do it." Da 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 da. And you'd probably say to them, "Listen, I've seen you training. You've done 3,000 miles of training. I mean, you've read all that stuff about the navigation, and you've been pretty good in a little exercise. You'd tell them all the good things they'd done, wouldn't you? You
Exactly.
wouldn't say to
Remind
them,
them.
you wouldn't say to them, do you know what? I think you're right. You could get hit by a whale somewhere in the middle. There'll be there'll be a big wave will come and get you. You wouldn't say any of that. You'd be
No.
saying all the stuff that you've not. And what you're presenting back to them is the evidence that you've seen, and they forget the evidence. They've forgotten that they've done 3,000 miles worth of training. They've forgotten that they've done navigation courses. They've forgotten all that. So sometimes we're beating ourselves up, and the way to stop it is go, what would I say to a friend? And I've got a fantastic friend, Stevie Conn. I've known him since he was a schoolboy. And the two of us, whenever I think I'm having given myself a hard time, I say, what would I say to Stevie?
I like that.
And you suddenly go, I'd be saying to him, Stevie, well done. I can't believe you've done that. It's like amazing, just changing it. So, yeah, that's what we do, work on those kind of things. And I think the other thing, John, is you've got to do it kind of repeatedly. It's not like, so there you go, that's you, you're fixed. Do those three things and you're sorted. You've got to keep doing them, haven't you?
Hmm.
You've got to keep trying them. It takes, I remember going through my NLP training, they taught us a particular technique to stop the inner voice. I can't say it because it's swearing, because it was the guy that invented it, Richard Bandler, was very sweary. But he taught us this technique that was a shock, and I kept using it. And I honestly can't remember how long it took, but it was definitely under a year. I'm going to pitch 6 to 9 months. So you just got to keep saying it. If it was what would you say to Stevie? By the time
Hmm.
you've done that 20 times, it's now part of your neural pathways strong on it. It's part of your repertoire. It's what you do. So you're doing a thing we call a pattern interrupt, where the pattern would say, "I'm no good at this. I can't do it," and all of a sudden you bring in a pattern that says, "What would you say to Stevie?" And you go, "Oh yeah, I tell him he did actually do that, and he is good at that, and yeah, he's going to be okay, isn't he? Great. Now say that to yourself."
I
So
love
that's
that.
it.
Yeah,
Good fun,
Steve.
isn't it?
It is absolutely no. I love. What would you say to Stevie, or for the
Yeah.
listener, what would you say to your
To your
your good
friends.
friend, or maybe your little sibling,
Yeah,
things like
absolutely.
that. And yeah, I
Absolutely.
like the kind of frame of what is it you want to come out of this, because I think public speaking, a lot of people, I was definitely in that boat of scared of public speaking, and I got to a point where I actually started associating it with, oh, I'm excited about how I'm going to feel afterwards and what I'm going to do. And that was kind of the switch for me, and repetition of actually, there's no,
Doing it.
you're never going to get over it until you do it, even if it's little step by step. But
You got
yeah,
it.
I
You
think
got it.
focusing on
Hey,
what you want can has definitely been a game changer.
you got
Um,
it. And I love what you've done there. You went, how good I'm going to feel after it.
mm,
Because you're going like, that's what I want. That's the reward for going through this thing. It's ultimately stressful, isn't it? It's like,
mm,
I get it. I was thinking, we were talking to someone about a board presentation. This was really, it was the first time she was doing it. So she was a bit nervous. She was sort of a newer member of staff in that organisation. And I was saying to her, helping us. The presentation was good. What she put together was good. It was logical. It was really great. She had loads of data behind it. All good. But she was really nervous, but quite rightly, because, you've never done that before. So why wouldn't you
mm,
be a bit nervous about it? So I said, okay, first things first, read it out loud to yourself. You know. Second, um, read it out loud in front of a mirror. Do people
mm.
still have mirrors, by the way? We have mirrors. I don't know. Was that a fashion thing we would read in front of the mirror? I don't know. But anyway, read in front of the mirror. She would do that so she could see herself as she was doing it. Then the next level was to read it out to friends and family, practice it
Mm,
in front of them. Then the next level was to do it with colleagues. Then the next level was to do it with colleagues that were a wee bit trickier, that would not just sit and go, "Oh, you're brilliant, that's great." And all the time you're ramping that up, a couple of things
mm,
happen. Number one, you're building the neural pathway of the language that you're using, so it becomes memory. Even though you might have slides or prompts or whatever, it's still getting level.
mm,
but it's all those steps in it. So by the time you get to the boardroom, you've practiced it enough
Mm.
to be and all you're doing all that time is what I've used the word for, evidence. You've collected evidence. Now, if we run back through that little thing, there was a couple of things will come out of that. So they'll probably go, well, I know she said to me, oh, I don't want to stand in front of the mirror. I look stupid. You know, this isn't about looking good or bad. This is about practicing.
Mm.
So kind of think about it's about practice. It's not about how you look. Right. Okay. I've got that. Oh, the other thing I said is iPhone, get it out, video record it so you can play it.
Mm.
Oh no, I don't like the sound of my own voice. No, that's how you sound. Get over it. You've got to listen to yourself. Oh, right, okay. And I said, the good thing is you can listen to it in the car when you're driving home. And she went, oh, that's a good idea. I don't need to watch it then. You can watch it if you want, but you're going to listen to your cat 20-minute drive home. You're going to listen to it a couple of times. You know, fantastic. It's going to layer in.
Mm.
And it's, as we go through that whole chain, she would look at it and go, it was evidence as opposed to did it work? Was it good? Was it bad? No, I'd done it.
Mm.
So by the time you get to the 20th time of doing it, it's actually got pretty good.
Mm.
Because you've gone, oh, I don't like the sound of that. Same as what you just done with audience is the same in it. You know, you stand up in front of a group of 10 people and it's nerve wracking. Then
Mm.
it's 20, then it's 100, then it's 2,000 in a theatre or something like that. And you're thinking, like, you are starting in the wings going, why did I say I'd do this? Why did I say I'd speak at this conference? But you know that, you know, you've practiced it, you know your stuff, you're going to get out there and do it. So
Mm.
do it.
It's interesting. I think for me, just even probably back in like maybe 10, 12 years ago, to just say my name in a meeting was nerve wracking. I mean, last summer I was in a conference, they asked me to come on stage. I'm in flip flops and shorts, and there's 500 people in the room, and I just like, just kind of like bat like this, and it's correct. And this is a message for anyone. It's like that kind of shy and insecure to even say my name in front of 10 people, to just be the flip flops in front of 500 and just doing a bit of a speech. It's it's that practice, and it's a gradual step. So yeah.
And the funny thing is, Johnny, the people in that conference would look at you and they'd go, oh my God, he must have been born like that. They haven't
Mm.
saw all the bits, all them 12 years where the starting point, when you heard your name in a meeting, you were, oh, right, okay. That is brilliant. It's exactly that. So it's I suppose the beginning, it's this behavioural bit where what you done
Mm.
is you went, right, now I've got to maybe contribute to the meeting. Now I've maybe got to present something for 5 minutes.
Mm.
There was the first, I remember the first presentation I've ever done to the board at the
Mm.
bank. And it was like, I was really nervous. I was probably about 25 or something like that. And I was like, nervous about it. And I remember when I went in, I done the bit for them, which was about a 10 or 15 minute slot. That was all. It was an update on a project we were working on. And I suddenly, this is the big realization I got. I went, I'm like 10 minutes in a full 1 day agenda. I'm not the main thing because I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to be paying attention. They're going to be this. So they did pay attention. They asked some good questions, but it was like I wasn't the main event.
Mm.
And sometimes that helps you where you go, actually, yeah, they're looking at me differently. They're looking at, oh, here's this young guy coming in to update us on that project. Great, we need to know where it is. Move on. Next, we're talking about, I don't know, the next, bad debt or whatever it is. So you get it. It's like you fit in a bit, didn't you? And then you get better at it and better and do more and more and more, just like you did. Where you, I love that story, by the way, where you're sitting in a meeting going, "Oh, my name," and the next minute you're in flip flops and shorts on a stage, giving it, "Hey, Johnny's here."
Yeah, it's no, I love your story as well. Like just reflecting on that 10 minutes, and yeah. So it sounds like a lot of what the work you do is like about helping with that narrative, flipping the script, becoming aware, you know, speaking to yourself like you would a friend, not like brutally harsh to yourself, and but also that repetition and um, constant activity to help yourself develop and build that confidence in yourself.
That's it.
Mm.
It's like, I think once you realize it's a process, that you can choose to go through or not, because it is choice in it. You go like, I want to build that part of me. It's a process, and once we found, and I think that's what excited me at the beginning. That once I found that, the positive thinking, I loved that training. By the way, I loved it. But I couldn't get my hands around. So what do I do? Whereas just a few years later, we were picking up on the other things I'd said, and you start to go, right, so this is a process, and just like that, confidence is a process. And a funny thing is, you might be confident. Here's a funny one then. So I'm confident in my business life. If you ask me to a meeting and I've got to talk about engineering or whatever it is, if that's what I am, I'll do it, no problem. But when it comes to money, I'm not confident. I don't really understand financial products, or I don't understand the mortgages, and I don't understand that. So I feel a bit less confident in that part of my life. Yet that same person might be very confident in, say, they play, I don't know, a sports. Say it's a lady that plays netball, but she's really confident in that. So she's confident being an engineer, she's confident being that, but she's not confident in the financial space. Or flip it, it could be she's not confident in a relationship space. So there's about 6 areas of life that we would look for confidence in, and we don't need to be confident in every single one of them. But what we might need to realise is, say, the financial one, if I use that, I actually do need to know about that. So I'm going to start learning it. And again, it's back to everything we've been saying so far, step by step. Here's a way to think about this: is to go, what's the smallest step, smallest manageable step I can take towards that?
I think that's a great bit of guidance, and and also what you touched on, different areas of life. You may not be as like you touched on the finance, but maybe business it's more confident, or a sport, or different things. So awareness, again, to what you want.
You see this with parents, myself included. You've just left the hospital, or my wife had just left the hospital, and me doing the driving at 30 miles an hour on the motorway because I've got this new baby. And your confidence level about how to look after another human being kind of goes a bit down, because you're going, what do I do now? Everything's new, isn't it? But then by month 3, you know how to feed the baby, change the baby, do all the stuff with the baby. It's funny, isn't it? How we don't have a choice in that, do we? We have to learn that quickly. Unless, of course, we've got nannies.
Parent, yeah.
Exactly.
No. Love that, John. John, thank you for everything you shared today, like real golden nuggets. And I know you've got so much more to offer and share with people. I know you've got your podcasts and various sources you're available and resources. So as we wrap up today, I'd love to know, where is the best place for the listener to find you, your podcast and your work? And is there maybe a final point you'd like to leave us with today?
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. I think the easiest place to find me is on all the podcasts, so Apple, Spotify, etc., Amazon. The podcast called Let's Talk About Confidence, and it's the practical guide that we've been talking about. The second is the books. They're on Amazon, and I've had to use my middle name, John M. Walsh, because there's a lot of John Walshes out there. So you'll find my books out there. And the one I guess I'm most proud of is Little Bird, which is a fable about confidence that tries to tell it in a story as opposed to just be confident. I think the thing to leave with, Johnny, is it is a process. Behaviour building, confidence is a process. So if you want to be more confident in any one of those areas of your life, it's taking the smallest manageable step you can, and then building on it. And I guess the second final point would be, you're gathering evidence, not success. You don't have to be successful when you're doing it. You just need to try it and prove to yourself that you've survived it, and then try it again and try it again. That's the bit. You're gathering evidence, you're not gathering success.
Phenomenal. Love it. The process and building evidence. And that's a great point to leave us with. And of course, a lot more to dive into and re-listen to this podcast many times. And John's podcast as well. So John's podcast, all the links to the platform and also the books are going to be in the show notes below this episode as well. So you can grab those amazing books. You can listen to John talk even more about his knowledge and golden nuggets around confidence, around behaviour. So, John, I want to say a massive thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. That's been amazing. Thank you, John. It's such a great conversation. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you. So, that concludes today's episode. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.